There you go. Sorry about that. Not sure what exactly happened there. As I was saying, it was Creations who won in Azerbaijan last time out, and what an eventful race that was. I wasn't there for it, but there was carbon fibre everywhere, as I heard, and chaos pretty much on every lap. So Creations made the most of that and ended up winning that race, with Thallow and Positive rounding off the podium places. But in the standings, that meant Positive closed the gap on Matthew at the top of this Drivers' Championship to just 14 points. So as we reach the last 4 rounds, or last 5 rounds, including tonight, shall I say, it's really hotting up. And Thallow's actually found himself up into 3rd in the standings too. So real mix-up at the top there, thanks to that Azerbaijan race. Ferrari still leading the way in the Constructors, with Mercedes hot on their tail, but not quite there to close that gap. But yeah, tonight they go around Spain. I know this is a track, should I say, that a lot of drivers in our league, they don't enjoy. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens here. 16 turns, and one of those tracks where you've really got to get into a rhythm. It's not one of my favourites. It gets worse for me as you go round the lap, if you like. Tier 1 Sector 1 is pretty nice and flowing, and then you get to a technical part in Sector 2, but it does include a DRS section. And then when you get to Sector 3, there's no real sort of quick part about it. It's just short turns, and it ends with a chicane and then a sweeping right-hander. So a lot of opportunities for cars to make overtakes and make mistakes. So it'll be all about consistency tonight, and those who have been up the top of the standings, you'd expect to be up there fighting for the victory tonight. If you just view the screen as it is now, you'll see quite a few familiar names as they start to ready up, I think. Yeah, the familiar Tier 1 names obviously are in here competing in their normal slot, but you might see some Tier 2 names here and some commentators taking part. Kevin Iolator, my co-owner, he's jumping in a Red Bull seat alongside Norton. So that's a Tier 2 team, really, tonight. So I wonder what they'll do for the Red Bull team. Sam W11, who usually does the commentary on a Monday night, he's been asked to step in for the McLaren team. I know Smiggy will be happy about that, that's for sure. So there could be some extra points there for the McLaren team. There's Bicyc as well, halfway down the page. He's racing in an AlphaTauri. He's been performing well as late. He might have had a few incidents, but he looked really quick. So he'll be hoping to transfer that kind of quick form into this race here. As the clock counts down, we're good to go, and we are loading in. So yeah, commentary on my own. I haven't done one of these in a while, must be said. So apologies if I'm repeating myself or I miss anything. But I'll do my best to capture as much as I can. If you want to give me a shout out or you want to say anything, please message the stream chat. I will try and get your messages out on said out loud on the stream anyway. And I know that a lot of the drivers also like watching this one back as well. So I'll be hoping to get their best moments and those spins as I flick through the cameras of all the drivers. But we'll see what this race has in store. Potential of rain, I guess, but the rain in Spain will hopefully only fall on the plane and not this racetrack. So here we go, we're just loading in. It looks like a dry quali. 16 drivers in all. So real sort of mix of, I don't want to say abilities because that's a little bit harsh, but maybe a mix of experience of Tier 1 racing. in this lobby. It might be good to get a lap on the board, because obviously as the time ticks down, pressure cranks up, and if you haven't got that lap on, well, that timed lap already in the bank, just a little mistake and a bit of pressure could mean that you're not going to set a time at all. We've got drivers on their way out, so they're in business early doors. I couldn't tell you if there is any weather changes at all. I haven't got that function available to me. But let's have a look who's out. Sam W11 is out on track early. He is the first McLaren, the first car on track, hoping to get a time on the board. His teammate is slotting in, should I say, behind. So maybe a bit of a tow there as well between the McLarens. They'll organise that between them. They probably have partied up. And then I think they're followed by a Ferrari. I think it's Matthew looking to get his title push back on track following a bit of a rough ride in Azerbaijan. But you wouldn't disregard him from one of the sort of favourite markers for this race. Quite a few on track, probably about 6 or 7. Well, yeah, 6 still in the pits. Maybe just saving a set of tyres. In the way the incidents racked up in recent weeks, not a bad thing to think about. But we'll stay on board with Sam, as he's the first one who will put a time on the board if he manages to get round without any drama. So DRS open down the long straight, real sort of place to make up positions when we're in the actual race. But here it's all about putting the full throttle down through 1 and 2, and then avoiding the curves as he should do around the sweeping right-hander. Yellow flag, but that's nothing to worry about. That's sector 1 complete nice and quickly. Round the right-hander, it's a bit of a long one, that one, and it turned 4, and then a bit of a sharp turn on the left-hand side at 5. And then you plant the throttle down as you approach an uphill left-hander at turn 7. Cars can easily lose out there. Sam's kept it on track. And then we approach the right-hander leading to the DRS zone. See his rear wing is open. As we approach turns 10 and 11. A bit different to recent seasons, obviously. That part of the track, Sam's managed to get round it okay. Into a hard break 13. And here's the chicane that many can get wrong if they ride too much curbs. I think he's all good. Round 16, that's the final corner. Full throttle to the line. It's a 1:18.1. Probably the most informed Tier 2 driver. So that's the time to beat. Until Matthew puts in a lap 1.1 seconds quicker. So there you go. Maybe that's the difference between the two tiers. Smiggy obviously made a mistake. And Tom, VXR Tom, one of those that could be up there. Started in the P2. Fallow, 118.1. And Kevin Annihilator, 119.4. Alex F1 is the next across the line. Rear wing open, 118.6. I think next is a Haas. I think Armour's gone back in the pits, to be honest. Hurricane slots in 6th position with a 119.4. So that time from Sam is actually not so bad looking at how the first runs have gone. Matthew's just blown it out the park, that's all. We've got a Red Bull crossing the line next, but he's on his out lap. So it'll be a Williams. Basketball Dan's put a 125.3 in, that's not going to be a serious time. But he's going to be held up here by Norton, which is not going to be good. So probably could have done with giving himself a little bit of more of a gap. Who have we got here? Sam will be coming into the pits, and who's the Ferrari behind him? I think that'll be Matthew as well. So the first two runners back into the pits. Who have we got coming round the last corner? It's Will, another Tier 2 driver, making the jump up for tonight. He's gone to P5, 118.2. That's a more than respectable time. And next is the First Mercedes putting a real time, and there you go, positive, a 1:16.9. And that battle at the front between him and Matthew looks to continue here. Barcelona, if that is any indicator at all. I mean, I don't want to take away the efforts of everybody else, but those two put in some absolute worldy times. In the meantime, let's look at Norton. So this is going to be the first time he's going to put on the board. Sprint to the finish to put a 1:19.399 on the board. Mercedes of Tundra, look at this, a 1:17.1. So, hello, the two Mercs have really turned it on in qualifying. 1 and 3 as it stands, no bias here from me. But could they be the team to beat here? Will has invalidated him. In fact, going into the pits, he's already put a time on the board. So, round 1, if you like, is over. And there's your early indicators of who to look out for in the race. I mean, Positive and Matthew. Top 2 in the championship, top 2 as it stands in qualifying here. And then Positive's teammate Tundra helping his teammate out here by being provisional P3. A yellow flag in sector 2, but I don't think that's any. I think that's an Alpha Tauri going slow. In fact, it's Bicycle warming up his tyres. So yeah, Tundra P3. Tom might have gone quiet in the last few races, but he's always one to look out for. His consistency is his greatest asset, you'd say. So yeah, Tom in P4, and then Sam, the first of the tier 2 runners, in P5. Oh, good effort from him. So, you know, a few early punches thrown, but a few nice surprises, as it were. 3 drivers yet to put a time on the board. Armour King and Bicyc both on hot laps. We're going to be on board with Armour King there. Thought he ran a little bit too wide there, but he's still got a valid lap time. Ticking down. The exits into the DRS zone. Rear wing open. And how to take this part of the track now. They wouldn't have done much practice, the guys at that sector and that corner in particular, because everyone will be used to the old sort of layout. But Armour looks to have done it quite nicely. Don't take too much curbs. Don't ride the curb on the outside, he hasn't. Sweep it round the final corner. Armour to the line. Goes P8 with a 1:18.4. We can quickly jump to Bicyc. He's in sector 3. Oh, he's ran a little bit wide there. That would have cost him some time. But he's negotiated the chicane. Okay. I don't think this will be the quickest time. No, it's only good enough for P13. Is he looking to go again? There's a Ferrari right on his tail. It'll be Matthew, I think. Yeah, he's let him by. So shouldn't have too much disruption there. So Harvey Booth, the only driver not to put in a lap time. But now the cars are out on track for their second run. There's an Aston Martin gone off. I think that's Fallow. But round 2 has certainly begun. Tom is first of the drivers to put in a new lap. So here we go. We'll ride on board with him. Keeping the car very left, so he's got a nice entry into 1. Keeping off the curbs. You can often spin the car if you ride too much curb through those first few corners. Take different lines round that sweeping right-hander as well. He's gone for the tight one. Tundra's left the session. Tom's completed sector 1. Oh no, in fact Tundra's retired. He's not going any further up the order than P3. I wonder if that will be an Oh, it seems to be retired just in the middle of that DRS straight. And that's certainly something you can do as Tom goes round that corner on that exit. If you get that wrong, you can drift wide and spin the car. But Tom hasn't done that. Tom is actually... he's backed out here. Yeah, he's nowhere near the time. So he'll be charging and ready to go again. So we're going to go on board with Matthew. Tom's in fact pitted. Matthew now negotiates the left-hander. Now back uphill as we've started sector 3. Oh, there's a bit of traffic. Is that Red Bull really going to play a part? I'm not sure. Probably not too much. In fact, it's a nice slipstream to the line, but I don't think he improves, Matthew, there. And next across the line will be Positive. Now, he's not on a quick lap either. He's actually put it in the pit. So a lot of drivers on their second runs, not really improving. Harvey Booth is on his out lap. He'll be next to cross the line, but there's a Red Bull behind him. I think it's Kevin on a flyer. No, even he's not on a meaningful lap. What about the McLarens? Well, Sam is up here. Smiggy will be next across the line, but I'm staying on board with Sam because he's up. He's up by almost 2/10. A lot of curb again through the chicane. Across the line. Sam, I think he did improve, but it's a 118 dead, and he only stays 6th. Alex F1, by the way, under the radar, has done a 117.9. He's going to pop it into the pits. And comment from Pepski, who's watching this with a lot of interest, has said, good to see the Tier 2 driver setting some competitive times here, and I must agree with him, really. As Harvey Booth has finally put a time on the board. So 118 dead from him. Matthew did improve, I think, as well. Not enough at the top. And Smiggy finally put a meaningful time on the board. He's popped himself in the P5. So the McLaren's looking quite tidy as well. Mercedes having 2 cars in the top 3. McLaren's 5 and 7. Ferrari's 2 and 6. So be a bit of a team battle going on here. Yellow flags, but I don't think they'll be for anything substantial. Red Bull going slow. Norton letting the McLaren through of Smiggy, but I think he'll be on his in lap, to be honest. So let's have a look here. Kev doing? No, Kev's going slowly, just doing a bit of a prep lap, I think. As Andrea's joined the lobby, there we go, that brings it up to 17. He actually had a quali ban for this race. So, Hurricane put it into the pits. Annihilator also into the pits. Wheel on an out lap. Sector 2. Norton's quickly come in and come back out. There's only 2.5 minutes left, so it's now squeaky bum time for most of these drivers. Andrea, if you're watching, please don't forget to remember your setup before you retire from the session. So, who have we got here? Will must be the first one. He's in Sector 3 now on an out lap, so a lot of curb taken there. His entry into the final corner. But he's began arguably his last lap. He's probably got time for another one as well, but with his ERS usage, this could be it. Round Sector 1, the first few corners, yellow flag ahead of him, but I think it's just someone letting another car through. No, he's backed off. He already knows that he's not improving, so he will have time to put in one last go. So it does mean two Red Bulls are on an out lap. Fallow's on an out lap. I'm just seeing on this track map who there is. Basketball Dan is on his out lap. So it would be positive? Positive to start the final runs. Guy already in P1. Looking to put down another marker for everyone else to try and beat. He's gone purple. Sector 1. There's a Red Bull stationary in Sector 1 in the meantime, but that won't bother positive as he's flying through Sector 2. He's got nice clean air ahead of him, so this is all on positive. Brings it round nicely as we approach the uphill entry into the DRS straight at turn 9. DRS all the way down into turns 10 and then 11. Uphill we go into 12. Don't take the curb on the inside, another place you can spin. Into 13, hard braking zone, downhill. 14 and 15 are the chicane, and then 16 is the final corner. This is the time to beat, guys. DRS open. He's gone a 10th quicker. It's 1:16.8 from positive. Next will be a Red Bull, I think. Norton, no, but he's completely off. So he's put it into the pits. Next will be an AlphaTauri. That'll be Bisick. Can he improve from P15? That's better from the AlphaTauri driver. He goes into P11 with a 1:18.2. Meanwhile, it's McLaren next. No, Sam's put it in the pits. Then Armour King will come round the final corner. He's up by almost 3/10, I think. He goes P9 with a 1:18.1. To Ferrari next. Matthew. Oh, he's taken pole position just. A 1:16.8. Matthew's done it. Fallow in the meantime. Only good enough for 6th now because Smiggy has snuck in ahead of him. Wheels only good enough for P11. And I think Basketball Dan will be the last one to cross the line. Nowhere near it. So there you go. Drama again late on in qualifying. We thought Positive might have done enough when he improved his final run. But no, Matthew responded with a 1:16.808. Just 68 hundredths quicker than his title rival. Tundra got away with his early retirement. He stays P3 and actually isn't that far off. Tom, Smiggy, Fallow, Alex F1, Sam W11. There you go, the Tier 2 driver in the top 10. He's 8th. Harvey Booth and Armour King round off the top 10. As we see, Andrea is the only one not set a time because he had a qualifying ban. But could have a mix-up of strategies here. A lot of Tier 2 drivers also outside the top 10, so they could throw a curveball by going longer into the race here. Tier 1 drivers will be hoping not to get stuck behind them at any point, but that's just the nature of the game. But if that has whetted your appetite, then we'll see what happens here. Right, are we good to go? I think the guys are just going to pick their strategies. Just gonna have to... Right. So, as I said previously, could be a mix of strategies. Be interesting to see if guys are expecting a safety car here. Obviously, recent times, recent races across both tiers, if you like, have brought safety cars. So, certainly one to think about. That's why some drivers might even only put 2 laps on the board to save some tyres just in case that might happen. Let's have a look. I think we're just waiting for... Oh, I think we're good to go, in fact. So, the formation lap is on broadcast, so we've got Crofty again. And there you go, look at the tyres. All on mediums, aside from Bicycle and Softs and Kevin Annihilator on hards. What do you make of that?
Take their positions on the grid.
That's not what I expected. I expected a lot of people to actually put on the softs. But if we see that predicted pitch stop strategy down the bottom, being on the softs actually means that kind of sticking to a tier 2 stop strategy. Whereas I think most will be hoping to do the 1 stop. See, a safety car could disrupt that though. So, we'll see what happens. So the likes of Annihilator on those hards, hoping to go really long into the race. Isaac looking to make up positions early doors. And we're off, and we're underway, and it's Matt and Positive getting away okay. But Tom up the inside. Looks like he's going to take the lead into... Oh, what's that? That's an Alpine and Alfa Romeo. Gone early doors. Surely that's a safety car. Tom's gone deep into turn 1. So I think Positive's actually back in the lead. Andrea disqualified from the session. He's parked it and is actually not started. The safety car is out. Oh my days. What's happened there? Will and Harvey have collided. Early on. Know what actually happened, whose fault that will be. Harvey will be seething, I know that, because after putting in a half decent quali lap, he was looking okay. Sole representative now, well, looked like the sole representative from the Alfa Romeo team, but actually him and Andrea have both gone down that pit straight for various reasons. So, just like that, we've had drama straight away. But positive leads. Matthew second, Tom, who had a blistering start but got the first corner all wrong. Only in P3, but he'll take that. Tundra then losing out one position to him. In P4, so still there or thereabouts for the Mercedes team. Is anyone going to pit? By the way, camera is chosen to give us a terrible one, but see that no one has pitted. Not even Bicycle on the soft tyres has decided to. It could mean we're actually going to be off and underway quite quickly behind this safety car. But just wonder, as Positive pulls up behind the safety car, whether incident tickets will be already discussed between, or in the tier 1 chats and between the stewards. I saw there was one open actually from qualifying, so the stewards again might be in for a long night. We see the predicted pit stop strategy graphic again, so that still applies to the majority of the field. Still on their mediums, might even go longer now on those mediums. See Hurricane and Basketball down, the two friends swapping positions at the back. Safety car in this lap. There you go. A quick turnaround because all the cars are there. No one's pitted. So we recommence quickly, and it will be at the end of lap 2 when it's all go, go, go. So what's Positive going to do here as he's warming up his tyres? Safety car, he's let go. So Positive weaving, trying to get something in the tyres. Like a tiger prowling behind his prey, ready to jump at the right time. And he's gone. And Matthew's kind of ready, and so is Tom. So, but no one's really changed places there. Tom really in Matthew's grill, or rear end if you like. Had to back out. So Positive leads, it's Matthew second, Tom third, as you were. Smiggy has overtaken Fallow. Those two have had a bit of a ding-dong throughout the season. I think a bit of respect has grown between the two of them. And they're at it again. Bicyc and Alex F1 in the meantime, fighting for 8th position. Smiggy's got back past Fallow, has he? They're side by side for most of Sector 1. And it's nice clean racing so far. I think Smiggy's just one out there. We're going to jump to the front again. Positive just built up a 7/10 gap there to reach the middle DRS zone. No DRS as it stands because we had a safety car. So it's all about that ARS deployment at the minute. And the top 4 building a bit of a lead because of Smiggy's tussle with Fallow. The Tundra right on the behind of Tom as we go through the final few corners of the lap. Stay on board here, even though further back there also looks to be a bit of a train, a potential move on the cards. So Positives pumps in the 120.3, 120.4 more like, and still no DRS enabled, waiting for the green light and race control for that. So it's all about maintaining that 1 second to the car in front as we see the two Alexes side by side. King winning that tussle there. Oh, and someone's round there. Norton's round. I think someone else went off, did they as well? No, just looks to be Norton as he's backed up right into the wall. I don't know if that's going to ruin his front wing, rear wing, should I say. But still going. Just got a bit of catching up to do. Positives now stretch that lead to a second, and as I say, looking to try and keep that second between him and Matthew, but Matthew's closed it. He must have used DRS down that straight to close that. Matthew, and Positive's gone really wide. Matthew's going to look for an opportunity here. Oh, that was a bit of a shaky error there from Positive, and it's allowed Matthew to get right up onto the back of him. Rather uncharacteristic, if you like, of the Mercedes driver. But it's given Matthew a chance to look at the rear wing of Positive. He's only half a second back as DRS is enabled. So halfway through the lap, Matthew will have his first opportunity for an overtake. Tundra looking for an opportunity there. Alex F1 has been done for speeding in the pit lane, so he's got a 5-second penalty there. Let's put on the penalties because we know they're going to add up, as they always do. Let's look at the intervals here. Tundra, as I said, right on the rear of Tom. And Sam as well, right on the back of Fallow as well. Battles galore. As Alex F1 exits the pit. Long way back. Bicycle is the first to get 3-second penalties. Corner cutting and the track limits have started to play a part. He's just lost a bit of time, actually, I think. When he's had a mistake in the same position his teammate did the lap before. It means that Tom has managed to get away, and Smiggy's going to be on the back of him. Jump to the front again. This is possibly where we might see a change for the lead. Maybe Positive deploying that ERS as a defensive mechanism. Cameraman, what are you doing to me here? As we see Positive maintain first position. Oh, there's a yellow flag. I think it's Norton again. He must be having trouble with that rear wing after that bang on the wall. Can't be helping him. I suffered that in Azerbaijan early doors. Hurricanes had to pit way earlier than I expected. And he's done it with Bicycle as well, so those two are going to have a ding-dong for a few laps. Different tyre compounds it looks like though, the two drivers. As Alex F1 goes past the two of them. Yeah, it's a Bicycle on the mediums, it's Hurricane on the softs. That could be a bit of a battle. I'm going to jump further forward now as we see Smiggy has Fallow right behind him. Fallow in a bit of a McLaren sandwich. Sam doing well, despite being the Tier 2 driver in the Tier 1 race. We come round the final corner. There's Tom, there's Tundra, there's Smiggy, Fallow and Sam. Bit of a DRS train forming here. So it's all about trying to lose the car behind you. You're in a decent first sector, a decent third sector, before that DRS detection point sort of creeps up on you again. So deploying the ERS could be might have to be quite cunning with it. Matthew, in the meantime, 5/10 away. As I think Morton's DNF'd at that rear wing, must be too much of an issue for him. So we're down to 13 early doors, 7 laps in. Not even a quarter of the way. So we see there's definitely a Hurricane overtake on the cards here, but not this time around. Jump back up to the front. Matthew lost out a few tenths there to Positive. No mistake, I don't think. I think just Positive might have just been a bit cleverer with the ERS there. Further back. Tundra again looking at the rear of Tom's car. He's got out a little bit shaky there, and that's going to let Tom off a bit. Not the most ideal last corner. I think it will be as you were. We'll have a look. Tundra, it's going to be a late move. No, it's not. Backed out of it, and smart play from the Mercedes driver. No point sticking it up inside his. Not sure what happened there. I saw a yellow flag, but I thought I saw a Red Bull off. Apparently not. Matthew, though, closed right up on the Mercedes here. You see Will's left the session. He already DNF'd, didn't he? So Matthew only 4 tenths behind Mercedes driver. We'll have a real opportunity here if he wants to do it. Decided against it. Might leave it for the pit straight. Tundra still stuck behind Tom. Yellow flag. It's Bicyc. Oh, after his early pit stop, that's the last thing he needed. Just lose more time. Hope those tyres aren't too hot. We're just going to jump onto the battle at the front again. These two have had a real ding-dong throughout the season. Title challenge has ebbed and flowed. As you see, Matthew is on the outside, Positive on the inside. And they go side by side. Well, that's clean enough racing between the two of them. Matthew going the long way round, I think, will just lose out in that part. But if he can stick with it, he will have the inside into the downhill left-hander that's about to come up. Here we go. Is that Matthew through? Oh. Yeah, Matthew's just yielded. But I'm sure the pressure will still come on. Positive. Good racing between the two of them, though. That seemed pretty fair. Matthew's going to hold fire for now. I think he's going to leave it to the pit straight again. Tundra, less than half a second behind Tom. Still stuck behind him, though. Sam doing his utmost to stay within that second behind Fallow. And then there's a bit of a gap to Armour King, Basketball Dan and Kevin Annihilator. So, Matthew, take 2, round 2 between these two heavyweights. Matthew going to go to the inside this time. Switch of positions this time. Matthew gets it done. Positive didn't really fight that one. I think maybe his ERS levels aren't as high. Bicyc gets another penalty. He's got 2 lots of 3 seconds now. He really hurt his race. In the meantime, Fallow has had a bit of an issue here. Yellow flag sector 1. Allowed Sam to go through. Now Armour King is right on the back of the Aston Martin driver. Looks to have all his car in one piece. Armour King now really being held up because I don't know if Fallow's maybe just got a little bit of issue. In the meantime, Positive this time. The one getting DRS. Opting not to overtake him down the DRS straight halfway through the lap. Tundra still behind Tom. Armour King still behind Fallow. Sorry guys, but I'm jumping to the front again. Because this fight has plenty of permutations for the outcome of the final championship. Positive. Oh, is he going to go for it? Oh, he is. Ooh, yes. Thought there was a chance. As Bicyc's retired in the pits, I think. Thought there was a chance that one of them might have made contact and spun out on a curb, but despite Positive's late lunge, but sort of committed dive down the inside, Matthew just got out of there. So I wonder if we'll just see those two swap positions as a few laps carry on. And it might allow Tundra, Tom, Smiggy and Sam to close the gap up to the front duo. Tom having DRS on Tundra. Not enough to get him that close to the Mercedes driver. Also going to look at the Armour versus Fallow race. can really apply the pressure to someone in this final sector. You can force them into a mistake, whether that's running wide and getting, you know, a penalty, or riding over those curbs and having a poor exit. Armour King and Thallow look to have negotiated the corners fine. Armour King with the DRS, but won't get close enough to make a move. It was as you were in 7th and 8th. Matthew. He'll just, after a few laps of tussling with the Mercedes driver, positive, just look to charge his battery up, go again in a few laps' time, stick with him through the DRS. Tom, though, has got past Tundra. Again, these two having a bit of a ding-dong, and Smiggy is a very interested custodian back there, because he's going to pick up DRS as well. Let's stay on board with this fight. I know the front two are racing down that pit straight now. Can't watch them all the time, and there is a fight on our hands here. So it's Tundra trying to get in the slipstream of the Williams. I don't know if he's close enough though. Looks like Tom's harvesting his battery, so maybe he's eked out a lot of that ERS as well. But Tundra not got enough tools at his disposal to make the overtake count. Smiggy still within that second as well. He remains interested in what goes on in front of him, and his teammate Sam just another 1.7 behind him. So 12 cars still going, 13 laps in. Yellow flag, sector 1. Basketball Dan is round. It's that long right-hander. He looked, is he missing a front wing? No, he's not. I think he might have got away with it. But that's allowed Kevin Iolator to come back into it. I'm going to use this moment to jump to the front whilst I change everything. To look at the tyres situation. So, top 9, all on mediums that they started on. So, they'll be looking to all run similar strategies if we don't get a safety car. In the meantime, Armour has done a fallow down the pit straight, thanks to some DRS assistance. Good from the Welsh wizard. As I say, as much as it's boring as a bit of a tactical or a strategy sort of race as a spectator, yeah, those guys at the front, or well, in the top 9, are all doing the same thing. Positive keeps that position at P1 down that DRS straight. Fallow's going to look into making a move back round Armour, but not this time around. So it's a bit of a procession at the minute, it must be said. No one really mixing it up with tyres, no one close enough to make moves. If they are, I've got to be looking to catch it. But here we go. Right, now we've got a bit of a shake-up. We've got 2 in the pits. It's Tom and Tundra. I can't believe they both pitted at the same time. Would have thought one would try to have played the other. But on go the hards for Tundra. Surely Tom's done the same thing. He's at the end of the pit lane. And they've let him out in front. The 2 good pit stops by the 2 teams and the crews. And on goes the hard tyre. And they start their long stint. But it's the thing with this game, your tyres aren't the most heated up. Basketball Dan is another one that's pitting. So leaving the pit lane, they've got to be careful not to work the tyre too much. And then as a hard tyre to do something that they can't do because it's not in the optimum temperature window. They seem to have negotiated Sector 1 well, so they should slowly be bringing them back up tyres into a working window. So now we're looking at the guys in front. Have they pulled the trigger as the front two pit? And positive, can you believe it's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane? Oh, that's music to the ears of Matthew. Oh, it's possibly another rookie error from the Mercedes driver. And ultimately, that might cost him victory here, because these two have been on a level playing field throughout. It's not one that he can get rescinded. It's just one that is ultimately possibly cost him the race win it. Because even if Matthew runs wide 3 times, that's only 3 seconds. Oh dear. 2 Mercedes drivers. They're the ones who've stayed out. Smiggy loves his tyre preservation, so I wonder what he's thinking. And Sam admittedly thinks that he's not the best strategist. Hasn't gone in when everyone else has, so I wonder what the McLarens are thinking. Kev obviously starting on those hard tyres. We'll be looking to go further into the race until he makes his mandatory stop. All eyes on the McLarens, it's Smiggy in. So Sam keeps going on those medium tyres. So Sam, the Tier 2 driver, actually leads the Tier 1 race. Good from him. And here are the two that we're talking about, or most people are talking about. As they go past pit boxes. Start lap 17. Tom managed to do Smiggy in the pits as well. Smiggy has come out in front of Tundra though. And wouldn't you know, staying out that extra lap or 2 has meant that he's got in front of the Mercedes driver and he's got fresher rubber on his wheels. So what a masterstroke that is. Tundra is through. But it's allowed Tom to have a bit of breathing space here. The Williams driver loving life. As Hurricane comes in to fit the hard tyre off his old softs. Surely Sam is going to pit here. We'll keep our eye on him. Sam does go into the pits. So he'll relinquish that lead for P1 that he possessed for a lap. It's a Positive who's now round the last corner and puts in the fastest lap of the race, 1:20 dead pretty much. But Matthew, all he has to do is just sit in behind the Mercedes driver. Meantime, Tom retakes P3. Stays in P4. Smiggy maybe just didn't have those tyres up to working temperature when Tundra caught him. He's in 5 and Sam's in 6. Alex F1 into the pits, is he? No, he's just been done by Basketball Dan. Won't be long till Alex F1 does pit. I expect 12 laps on those soft tyres. There we go. Into the pits, he'll be fitting a hard tyre, surely. So, actually, no one is within a second of the car in front, apart from Matthew. So we're going to have to stay on board with him. And they go into 13, 14 and 15. Negotiated quite nicely. And those 7/10 that separate the two of them are going to be closed because of the DRS and the slipstream that Matthew's going to have. No.
Not going for the overtake because he definitely doesn't need to. Meantime, the two friends are also close together. Kevin Annihilator is going to have DRS and his good mate Armour King. As Hurricane has done exactly what happened in Quali 2, I think, Harvey, and there's a safety car because he's lost it at the start of the DRS straight in Sector 2. Now, this is the curveball that we were perhaps hoping for. Who's going to run the risk of possibly popping on a new tyre? We saw Hurricane, I think, do 15 laps on those softs, so they can do it. Someone going to run that risk of running softs to the end. Alex F1 actually put on mediums. Basketball Dan is in the pits. What's he going to put on? He's put on mediums. The thing was with this game, you only get one set of mediums for race day. So options can be a little bit limited. What are the front two doing? They're staying with what they've got. So does that mean Tom's going to take a gamble? It does not. Tundra leaves it as it is. Smiggy also does. Sam also does. As does Thallow. So Armour King. Come on, someone I want to throw a curveball. Basketball Dan's put on mediums that are 14 laps old. As I said, you get one set of mediums and it kind of limits your options. So he'll be wanting to come off them. Kevin Annihilator, be the man. Come in to fit the mediums. They will be fresh mediums though, because he started on the hards. So he could have a bit of a say in things here. He still sit behind his good friend Armour King. So see what happens there. Obviously, the safety car won't be in this lap because we're all spread out. Basketball down back into the pits to take off those those old mediums. I see that there's a comment from Norton, who obviously was taking part in this and has suffered that rear wing damage. It says, tips with Norton number 1, don't break your rear wing at Spain. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to go well at Spain, don't break your rear wing. Basketball Dan pop the hards back on. No one's pulled the trigger to put on softs, which I'm kind of disappointed about. I expect if there were 2 medium sets available to drivers, they would have done it. Or at least some of them would. But that isn't a thing. Positive getting side by side with the safety car there. So again, especially on these hard tyres, it will be about the warm-up that they can get into the tyres themselves. Warming those tyres up much harder than if they were on the soft or medium compound, which means Kevin Annihilator, like I said, with those fresh mediums, have a real part to play here. No sign of the safety car coming in yet. Well, here we go. People are going to chuck the curveball in. Sam has put softs on. What we love to see. Armour King put softs on as well. And why not? It's going down. No, he's not actually going to get ahead of the guys who've just put the soft tyre on. Sam, obviously not really a tier 1 racer, so why not throw the curveball? He's got nothing to lose here. Looking likely that Sam obviously will be promoted into this tier. He got relegated from it a season ago. But he's really holding his own here. Annihilator. Consistency again. Driving him to a decent result as it stands, and on that fresh medium rubber. That could only get better for him as well, potentially. In the meantime, though, the other tier 1 drivers, safety car in this lap, doing their best to get that heat into the tyres. Who's going to manage to do it? And when is Positive going to pull the trigger? And let's take away all the graphics. Get full fuel. Full fuel? I hope no one's got full fuel. Full view of the restart. I think Positive's gone. He's found Matt sleeping there, which means Positive's got a bit of a gap, and Tom is right on Matthew's tail. Further back, Fallow and Smiggy are tussling. Tom's going to chuck it up the inside of the Ferrari here. Oh, but he's got on the curb, and he's lost traction, and the rear of the car just came round, and he couldn't make the overtake stick. Fallow has got past Smiggy as well. Further back, Sam on that fresh soft tyre got past Alex F1. And can he get past Kevin as well? Oh, yes is the answer. Sam back up to P6 and behind his teammate once again. What a call to put the soft tyre on. Further forward, Matthew can't close that gap. I mean, it's not a huge loss because of those 5 seconds Positive has. But putting under pressure from Tom, isn't it? And if Tom made that move count, it's all ifs and buts. I know it is. That could be a different outcome. Fallow in P4 then. Coming around the chicane, the final sector. Now Smiggy chasing him down, and Sam on that soft tyre, and Armour King behind him. I wonder if the McLarens will go for a switch here. I think they have. Smart play on orange cars. I'll say the fire. Armour King though is going to have to work to get past Smiggy. Smiggy's going to act as a rear gunner for Sam. I mean, because of a late safety car, Positive's got some work to do to get those 5 seconds, or get himself 5 seconds clear of the field. Armour King is right on the rear end of Smiggy. These two, another 2 that get on quite well, but on track. All friendships are put aside. Oh no! Oh, he's lost it all through his own accord. And what happened there? He must have applied too much power on the exit or halfway through that left-hander. Oh, and the gamble to go on the softs. Oh, it's just gone against him because of that mistake. DRS enabled. Sam looking for a move on Fallow. Is that side by side with him? Yes. Sam through into P4. McLaren making up the places. But that was the thing, wasn't it? Hurricane took his soft tyres so far into the race. You knew it could be done on a lighter fuel load as well. And Sam was brave enough to pull the trigger. I mean, they won't feel the greatest near the end, but I doubt the hard tyres will feel great either. Positive just can't shake Matthew off. Matthew comfortable in that provisional P1 with that penalty. Positives. Tom though, just a bit on his own. Meanwhile, there's Alex F1 has spun it on the exit. He's got away with not DNF in there, like others have before him, but he's going to find himself at the back of the field. Tundra, what happened to him? How's he found himself in P10? Oh, it's all falling apart as well. Tundra, he's had a habit of that over the last few weeks. And things have looked okay. Sam puts in a fastest lap as well, 1:19.9. All eyes surely on how far Sam will bring his car up the field. Armour King, though, goes a tenth better than him, 1:19.8, despite his spin on the previous lap. Yellow flag, sector 3. I don't think it's anything that's quickly cleared up. So, that's positive. Sam for the podium, says Pepski. Here for Sam and Kev. Sam v Kev in Tier 1, he says. And Sam for the podium, question mark. Sam for the win. You have a lot of work to do against a very shrewd and clever Matthew, and quick Matthew, it must be said. But Sam for a podium is definitely on the cards. He'll stay on board for the fight for P3. Apart from now, when I just have a quick look at how close Matthew and Positive are. But no, jump back on the Williams versus McLaren battle. As you see the top two go through the camera shot. Here we go. Sam, I wonder how much ERS he's actually got. He's done so much attacking, working his way through the field. Hasn't got enough to make a move there. Need to use the tyres whilst they've got the optimum amount of grip before they start falling away. Sam looks like he went a little wide round there. Still tucked up in behind though. There's a yellow flag. It's Kevin Iolator though. Oh, what's happened there? The Red Bull driver, for tonight. Oh, his mediums. They're just given away there. Oh, surely not. They must have had contact or something. He finds himself back in P10. Back onto the fight for P3. I'm using that DRS to close up, but Tom's got DRS there? No, he can't have. Matthew's too far up the road. I know Sam's dad might be watching this because he loves watching a HTR race and he loves watching his boy do well. So I wonder if he's really cheering him on like we all are for that podium spot. I think it's a little bit too far to make a lunge into turn 1. Fallow and Smiggy fighting. Tundra puts the fastest lap in. Smiggy comes out on top between those two. In the latest round of bouts between those guys. Tundra. Oh, Fallow picks up a penalty. Oh, that could be big. Not big for the cars behind, but for Smiggy, that's a sigh of relief for him. As he can afford to let Fallow go if he really wanted to. No more penalties, it looks like, at the front, though. Matthew 7/10 behind. Positive is still quite content just to sit there. Down the DRS section they go in Sector 2 to start Sector 3. Sam, I don't know if he can just find a way past Tom here. Tom obviously was like this with Tundra earlier on in the race. Now, despite a rapid McLaren on his back, Tom's kept his composure. In fact, I think he's eked out a bit of a gap there. in the final sector. So it's good driving from the Williams driver. I did say don't count him out, despite some results going against him recently. Oh, and Smiggy at it again. Like an under 12's disco. Around these two. Fighting, but Smiggy stays in front. Oh, Armour King tucking up to Basketball Dan. Basketball Dan, 7th position by the way, under the radar. Be a great result for him in what has been another difficult season for the Williams driver. Fallow closing the gap up to the car in front of him. To 3/10, Smiggy trying to get away from him through sector 3. Oh, he's going to have that DRS, isn't he? Positive's put in the fastest lap, a 1:19.7 on old hards. Fair play. And what's happened there? Has Sam had a mistake? I think Sam's made a mistake. And that's really put a... Oh, it has. He slipped all the way down to 6th here. Oh, can you believe it? Now we'll have to get his head down and just focus on bringing that home in P6 on track. P5 with maybe Fallow's penalty, but we'll have to close the gap up a little bit. Fallow fighting with Smiggy. Those two still fighting. That's your closest on-track battle. Especially when Matthew content to just stay behind Positive. 3 laps to go when we reach the end of this one. Oh, Sam's made another mistake. Can you believe it? It's all falling apart. The McLaren driver, it's at the exit again, or the entry of the DRS zone in Sector 2. Tier 2 drivers watching this, be aware of that part of the track. It's claimed the victim of many Tier 1 drivers tonight. Sam finds himself P9 now. Oh, hard work all undone. Oh, Annihilator. He's round in Sector 3. Oh, Tier 2 drivers all having difficulty at the end. Sam now, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Hello, 2.5 tenths behind. Smiggy, but nothing coming about it. Sam puts on some new softs. Kevin Annihilator takes 9th. Here comes Alex F1 as well. He'll probably overtake Sam. That's going to be close. In fact, yeah, Sam just does him. Jump on with Basketball down and Armour King. Who's that? On their back as well. Oh, is that Tundra? Yes. 3-way fight then for 6th place as Matthew puts in the fastest lap. 3-way fight for 6th place. Final few laps here. Obviously Basketball down with that penalty. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. Not sure where that's come from. Fallow and Smiggy still separated by less than half a second. The 3 further back still having a bit of a fight. And lap 32 or 33. Pepski has commented, crying face after Sam's Spinala. Kiss of death from Pepski, really. See, Positive's pumped in another fastest lap. Both going for that extra point, aren't they? The two at the front. I think Sam will have a say in that, though. These three come around the last corner and they start their final lap. Tundra looking for a move on Basketball Dan. No, backs out of it. Doesn't need to, but he could do with fighting armour if he could. Fallow and Smiggy also close together. Smiggy's penalty means that no matter what happens really, unless something drastic happens, that's going to stay as Smiggy 4, Fallow 5, Alex F1, hello! Putting in a cracking lap, 1:19.4. That's taken the competition away with the fastest lap from the top two. Here are these three again. No change in the order though. This is a bit of a DRS train. Tundra trying to go the long way round. Basketball down. Positive. Yeah, gets his 5-second penalty. Sorry, I was too focused on that fight. So it's Matthew who brings home the victory. Tom will end up taking home third. Well-deserved third. Consistent run from him. Smiggy takes P4. It's Fallow in 5. Oh, and Basketball Dan loses it at the final corner, which means it's Armour in 6, Tundra in 7. Basketball Dan will need to cross the line to take P8. I think it would have ended up that way anyway with the penalty, but must have just applied the throttle too much around that last corner. Annihilator will negotiate the final corner to come home in P9. Alex F1 and Sam, who's probably actually going for the fastest lap here, will end it. So Alex in P10 and Sam not enough for the fastest lap. Oh, but he'll be cursing himself because he knew that was so close, I think. But that is the end of the Spanish Grand Prix. Annihilator getting driver of the day. And just surviving 33 laps of that track is an achievement in itself. So many cars been in it on curbs, losing it on exits. You've seen Matthew celebrate the on-track victory. His tight rivals either side of him. Celebrations have begun, and that's advantage Matthew as we head into round 9 next week. Where is round 9 next week? I don't even know. But let's have a look. Round 9 will be USA, and we're back to a sprint format as well next week. We've had drama there before, it could be drama again. Let me just go through all of this just to confirm that Andrea, Harvey Booth, Will, Norton, Bicyc, Hurricane, they were the DNFs in this race. So it was in fact 11 finishers in tonight's Tier 1 race. Alex F1 taking the fastest lap. By the way, that's an impressive lap from him, despite being all the way in 10th. But yeah, it's Matthew who takes the victory here. And as I say, advantage Ferrari before we head into the final run of races. There's 4 to go. I'd hate to call it right now, wouldn't you? But join us again tomorrow. Tier 2 take their turn. at the Catalonia circuit. Join Positive and Alex F1 for comms. And you'll see me, no doubt, bin it where everyone else has. Maybe you'll see Sam, Kev go well again. And then join us again next week as well for the next Tier 1 instalment. As I say, we're at USA for a sprint race. 7 o'clock. Normal time, normal place. But I've been Devs10. Thank you for joining me. It's been a long one. But now we see it was worth it from Matthew's point of view, because he's the one leading the championship as we head into the final 4 rounds. I've been Devs10, as I say. Thanks for joining me, and we shall see you soon. Goodbye.